All right, so we're done with the recap on those games. You want to get into our power ratings after week 2?
Yeah. So this is going to be a pretty hard one here. I have Georgia.
At 1, remaining
Yes.
at 1. So mine 1, 2 stayed the same. I have
Mine as well.
Georgia and Michigan at 1 and 2.
Yeah, I have Georgia, Michigan at 1 and 2 as well. And 3, I have Florida State.
As do I.
Yeah.
I have Florida State sitting at 3.
Bama has dropped for me after the quarterback play. It's kind of rough. They really took a nice little drop on mine. You'll be happy to see that. But their quarterback play has kind of killed it. Florida State, again, about as complete as it gets. They played Southern Miss, but I needed to see, again, dominance, right? Like, I have them so high that anything less would kind of be like, dang, really? 66-13. And again, I know this isn't a ranking system, but, bro, they look so good.
Yeah.
So I have them at 3.
I also have them at 3.
Right, so does the AP poll. So
yeah,
I guess they're fairly ranked at 3 too.
I'm right there with you. You said you dropped Alabama down a lot. I'll go ahead and spill the beans here. I dropped Alabama out of my top 10 power ratings.
Yeah.
Now, I don't necessarily think that they're not a top 10 team in the country. I think given their potential, they absolutely have that potential. Let's put it that way. They have the potential to be a top 5 team in the country.
Right.
But given what I've been seeing, I had to drop them out because I need to see that stuff fixed, knowing that it's not talent on the field, it's not ability on the field, it is mistakes and lack of discipline that limits you to the point where you can lose by double digits at home.
Yeah.
And you still have 2 really tough games on your schedule.
Yeah.
So I think they're right on the cusp, but they're out of my top 10.
Speaking of the team that did the whole double-digit win in Tuscaloosa, I have Texas at 4.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I'm on the Texas bandwagon, just not Quinn Ewers quite yet.
I moved Texas up a good bit, but I have Penn State actually at 4.
Okay.
Penn State's done nothing wrong. They've dominated both teams they've played, and I think they just look complete at this point. So
Yeah.
I'm interested to see them get into the Ohio State Michigan portion of their schedule. I know that's later down the line, but we need to give Penn State the love they deserve.
Yeah. And at 5-6, I have Ohio State and then Penn State.
I also have Ohio State at 5. I think Ohio State and Penn State are both just a notch behind Michigan right now. And if you would have told me 3 weeks before the season started that I'd have Penn State ranked power rated over Ohio State, I would have looked at
what the hell happened, right?
I would have looked at you funny. But I think the potential for both of these teams is playoffs.
Yeah.
I think they both can get there. Penn State so far has just looked like the better team to me.
I almost agree with that. I have them. The problem is I have to put 1 at 5, 1 at 6.
Yeah.
And so here we are.
And
I have Ohio State at 5, Penn State at 6.
And I think more highly of them than you because I put them at 4 and 5.
Exactly.
So
Right.
At 6, I have Texas.
Yeah.
I know you had them there at 4. I love Quinn Ewers. Everything I saw out of Texas leads me. I have no issues with them being 4th in the AP poll. Whenever we do a power rating, we're talking specifically about if Texas played Ohio State 100 times, I'd have Ohio State winning at least 51 of them.
51, right.
And the same can be said about the teams I've rated higher.
No doubt.
But Texas is a great team that if they get into the playoffs, they're going to be a problem.
Yeah, I agree. Number 7, I have Oregon.
Okay.
I struggle not to put Oregon even higher. I have them rated as my number 1 team in the Pac-12.
What? So why is that? After what we saw with the Texas Tech game, why is that?
Yeah, the penalties, right? The penalties right there. It sounds weird. I have them rated so high because they had so many penalties. That's why that game stayed close. I don't think that's going to be a problem for them going forward. So I think they'll be okay.
So we simply view that metric differently because that sole reason, plus the turnovers, is why I dropped Alabama out of my top 10.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree with you that Oregon's a great team and very likely going to be in the Pac-12 championship.
Right.
We just view that metric differently.
I agree.
I have Notre Dame at 7 because they started out slow, but yet again, Aldrich Estime, Sam Hartman, they did their thing.
Yeah.
The defense stepped up and had the best game of the year. I mean, I know they've only played 3 games, but the defense stepped up and had their best game of the year so far in terms of turnovers. This is a team that's going to be really dangerous. Like you said, I can't wait for them to play USC and Ohio State.
That's why I have them at 8. Enough said.
Yeah.
Who you got at 8?
Washington.
I feel that.
Washington. So look, this is actually the first Pac-12 team I'm naming here. Again,
It's got to be like Penn State. They just haven't done any wrong yet.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yep, same thing. And I think when I look at the field of Pac-12 teams, I say, okay, Caleb Williams is the best quarterback.
No doubt.
But then I say Michael Penix Jr. is right there. He's the
not
second
far
best
behind.
quarterback. And that's the best wide receiver room, and it's not close.
I'd agree.
Yeah, so I'm going to go quarterback. I'm going to go wide receiver room. And their ability to score at will in their conference, this is a team that I really, really like their odds this year.
I don't disagree.
And you had Notre Dame at 8.
At 8.
At 9, I have USC. So again, right there with Washington, but just a notch behind.
I have so no Oregon yet. Okay. I have Bama at 9. I think all the things you said, I 100% agree. I think with Bama is really and truly they have potential to win out. I don't mean win out in the regular season. I don't mean win the SEC championship. I don't mean win their bowl. I mean win out. That is always the thing with Bama, right? We even said it before the year. It doesn't matter who they run out at quarterback. If they make it to the playoffs, they're immediately probably going to be my favorite because that means everything clicked, right? And because of where they're at, I feel good. When you bite a dog, I don't mean a human bites a dog.
Right.
When a dog gets bit and put in the corner, right, its only way is up, right? I am worried about Bama because there's a slight shot that's not the way they go. But coming off of a home loss like that, where, by the way, they had the longest home winning stretch of anyone in college football, I still feel good about Bama doing some crazy things, just not as good as the 8 teams above them.
Yeah,
So,
I don't disagree with you. Again, I was the one that said it, that if Alabama gets to the playoffs, they'll very likely win the playoffs.
I agree.
But they still have LSU and Tennessee on their schedule
Yeah.
in the regular season, and I need to see them get past those games.
I agree.
Once they do and how those games go, if and when they do and how those games play out, my opinion on Bama will change.
I feel that.
And then at number 10, I have Oregon. So I had Washington, USC,
Who's your
Oregon.
9? Who's your 9?
USC.
Okay, that's right.
So at 8, 9, and 10, I had 3 Pac-12 teams: Washington, USC, Oregon. They're all neck and neck to me, but I value Michael Penix Jr. in that wide receiver room to USC. Again, Caleb Williams is the best quarterback in the country, but defensively, USC has problems. They can't stop the run, and against a team like Oregon, that's gonna be tricky.
That was the first thing I wanted to bring up with Oregon, right? I have Washington at 10. The problem with them and that USC is off, it's the defense. That's why I have Oregon higher. That's why I have Washington at 10 and not even closer to Oregon. It's because of the defense, the gap there. And then USC would be right on my cusp, along with Utah probably, waiting for Cam Rising, and then probably Tennessee.
So my honorable mentions here, I had Alabama, Tennessee, Utah, and Oregon State.
Oregon State, they look really good.
Oregon State's defense is always great, and something's clicking with DJ. He's balling.
That O-line.
Yeah.
They're giving him so much time, and again, receivers are just getting open. So